Welcome everybody to our Thursday night Interfaith Zoom meeting, and very happy to see everyone here and people joining as we begin. And a little later I'll introduce our speaker, Tracy, who will talk about well-being. But for now I'd like to open, if Angie could please acknowledge the land.
Hello everyone, my name's Angie. I'm sitting here right now on the country, the land of the Bidjigal and the Gadigal people, and that's in Sydney, in Coogee. Behind me is the beautiful beach, which they call Kuja. That's the Aboriginal name for the beautiful beach, and Kuja means smelly seaweed. And the seaweed comes up on this beach several times a year in really big mounds of sea and seaweed. And the smell is very pungent, but I love it. And I feel very grateful to be on this country. And I ask tonight that we stop for a minute and think about the country that we're sitting on right now for this interfaith meeting. And I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge the people that have walked the land where you now reside, where you now are for this moment in time. The people that have cared for the land, cherished the land like the Bidjigal people have here, which I'm truly grateful for. And I acknowledge all those who have gone before us in gratitude for their care of this land, the waters and the air. And I think about the people coming here with us right now, and then those who are to come, knowing that our decisions, our actions today ripple effect onwards in this great part of existence that we're all in. So if you'd like to close your eyes and I suppose just take a moment to be mindful of the country you're on, the people that have walked the land there, maybe think about your own ancestors or someone who has played a significant role in your life, and you think of them with gratitude and love, because love is what connects us all. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Angie. That was very thoughtful. So Perry will begin the devotional part of our program with some music, and then the first reader will be Ellie.
I've been holding for so long, scared I might slip away. Sometimes I just feel so lost, but I know that I'll find my way. Oh, I cannot lie, it's hard sometimes I lose my mind. Constant whispers in my head, temptations I defy. But I know that if I lose your guidance I'll go blind. That is why I need you. Oh, straight. I need you. I beg you. Take me out of darkness into your light. I know I gotta stay strong, trying hard every day. 'Cause 100 times I've been so wrong, but I know I can make that change. Oh, I cannot lie, it's hard sometimes I lose my mind. Constant whispers in my head, temptations hard to fight. But I know that if I lose your guidance, I'll go blind. Protect me, my Lord. Oh, show me the way. Oh, don't let me stray. I need you. I beg you. Take me out of darkness into your light. My Lord, I'm grateful for your mercy. Whenever I fall down, you pick me up. 'Cause you're the one who's always there for me. Oh, show me the way. Oh, don't let me stray. I need you. I beg you. Take me out of darkness into your light.
Would you like
O my God, O my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal to them thy great purpose. May they follow thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor, and grant them a strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps by the light of thy knowledge, and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper and their Lord. Say, no man can attain his true station except through his justice. No power can exist except through unity. No welfare and no well-being can be attained except through consultation. Baha'u'llah.
Be united, speak in harmony, let our minds apprehend alike. Come and be your prayer, come and be the end of your assembly, come and be your resolution, come and be your deliberations, alike be your feelings, unify be your hearts, come and be your intentions, perfect be your unity. Rig Veda.
Now, in understanding wrong understanding as wrong and right understanding as right, one practices right understanding. First step, and in making efforts to overcome wrong understanding and to arouse right understanding, one practices right effort, that's the sixth step, and in overcoming wrong understanding with attentive mind and dwelling with attentive mind in the possession of right understanding, one practices right attentiveness. That's the seventh step. Hence, there are three things that accompany and follow upon right understanding, namely, right understanding, right effort, and right attentiveness. The Eightfold Path, Buddha. Thank you.
Let the women live in Ida in the same style as ye live, according to your means. Annoy them not, so as to restrict them. And if they carry life in their wombs, then spend your substance on them until they deliver their birth. And if they suckle your offspring, give them your recompense, and take mutual counsel together, according to what is just and reasonable. The Quran, Surah 65. The great being saith, the heaven of divine wisdom is illumined with two luminaries of consultation and compassion. Take ye counsel together in all matters, inasmuch as consultation is the lamp of guidance, which leadeth the way, and is the bestower of understanding. Baha'u'llah, tablets revealed after the Kitab Yaqdas.
Consultation bestoweth greater awareness and transmitted conjecture into certitude. It is a shining light which in the dark world leadeth the way and guideth. For everything there is and will continue to be a station of perfection and maturity. The maturity of the gift of understanding is made manifest through consultation. Settle all things, both great and small, by consultation. Without prayer consultation, take no important step in your own special affairs. Concern yourself with one another. Help along one another's projects and plans. Grieve over one another. Let none in the whole country go in need. Befriend one another until ye become as a single body, one and all.
The prime requisites for them that take counsel together are purity of motive, radiance of the spirit, detachment from all else save God, attraction to his divine fragrances, humility and lowliness amongst his loved ones, patience and long-suffering in difficulties, and servitude to his exalted threshold. Should they be graciously aided to acquire these attributes, victory from the unseen kingdom of Allah shall be vouchsafed to them. Abdul Baha.
Sarada, would you be able to read this one?
The purpose is to emphasize the statement that consultation must have for its object the investigation of truth. He who expresses an opinion should not voice it as a correct and right, but set it forth as a contribution to the consensus of opinion. For the light of reality becomes apparent when two opinions coincide. A spark is produced when flint and steel come together. Man should weigh his opinions with the utmost serenity, calmness, and composure. For expressing his own views, he should carefully consider the views already advanced by others. Abdul Baha talks in Chicago.
In all things, it is necessary to consult. This matter should be forcibly stressed by thee, so that consultation may be observed by all. The intent of what hath been revealed from the pen of the Most High is that consultation may be fully carried out among the friends, inasmuch as it is and will always be a cause of awareness and of awakening and a source of good and well-being. Baha'u'llah.
thank you very much, Harry, for the choice of readings and that music. Very, very catchy and easily get into. Well, it's my great pleasure to welcome Tracy as our presenter tonight. And we all who attend regularly know and love Tracy already for her contribution and wisdom, and makes a lot of sense, actually. So Mrs. Tracy de Geer spent nearly 50 years of researching multi-faith ways of being and learning, as well as contributing to creating more sustainable living for all on our planet. After 40 years of using herbs, including 20 years in various clinics, she wrote a book called Sustainable Wellbeing. And it's very easy to get and very readable. And she has a degree in a Bachelor of Health Science. If you don't have time to get a Bachelor of Health Science, then this book will capture the essence of all you need to know. She has been involved with the Women's Reconciliation Network for 25 years, helping to break the silencing of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' experience. She is a mother of 5 children, has 5 grandchildren. Very much welcome, Tracy, to talk about well-being.
Great. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Siva. I've got 6 grandchildren now.
Congratulations.
So I'll get up my PowerPoint and share my screen. Thank you, Basantha, for requesting.
I have forgotten, so it is a revision for me.
Oh dear. Now, okay. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about sustainable well-being, and you know, I'm going to sort of go over some different approaches that you may not have had much attention given to. So, don't you love this little plant? It's very resilient. It's come up from a crack in the ground, but it's fulfilling its potential. So try to think of your well-being in terms of making a large internal container in which peace, vibrancy, contentment, love and joy can be overflowing or radiating from. You have a well-being capacity chamber that you are looking after. This container is capable of changing shape and size to accommodate the many challenges that life throws at it, to deliver the outcome of well-being. Well-being means to have sufficient capacity to meet your needs, combined with a deep level of satisfaction, even in the midst of life challenges. Satisfaction comes from an engagement with your environment from deep within you, leading also to creativity and joy. The key to your well-being is in transforming the quality of the experiences of the things you need to be and do every day. So well-being, joy, contentment, and happiness can literally be built one breath, step or activity, mouthful of food, conversation, or smile at a time. Being well requires your cooperation on all 3 levels of mind, body, and spirit, in such a way that the needs on each level are being met in a harmonious way, having an integrated, adaptive inner network. An alternative way of expressing it might be that the survival, emotional, thinking, meaning, connected, and seeking parts of you are working together in order for you to enjoy life. We all matter as part of the whole. We all have a greater significance than any of us truly realise. Being the best you, developing yourself and contributing who you are is really important. Every one of us matters in the human race as we carry something unique and special, and that makes everybody richer. Honouring who you are, as well as honouring those around you, is a very important aspect of well-being. And this also has an impact on the global well-being of humanity and of the planet. There is a delicate balance between serving attentively the needs of others as well as ourselves, and we need to attend to both. So your wellness capacity is built, I'm just going to move this down here, is built from having sufficient supply of the resources, energy and information needed for structure, for function and satisfaction. See, some food is information within it. You know, some of the proteins actually contain information as well as energy and amino acids for building muscle. And as we'll see later, other things also give us energy besides food and air. Regular renewing and repairing, and a well-functioning immune system, good gut biome with beneficial bacteria, balanced nervous system, mindful activity, a feeling of inner spaciousness, inside and out. We've got a lack of congestion. You know, sometimes you can just feel completely choked up inside. Well, having that spaciousness is actually an important aspect of well-being. Adaptability and resilience to life. Clearing the waste products that every cell produces, and even from digesting our food, clearing out all waste products from the body. And good connections with others and yourself. Ooh. Now what's happening there? My computer is just freezing. How do we gather our nourishing resources? We need nourishment for our mind, our body, and spirit. There is an energy and information exchange happening between you and life. The main resources or elements you need for life are sourced from good quality food and water. That means fresh food, not processed food. The least processed and with extra additives and colorings and preservatives and everything, the better. Fresh food and quality air, clean air. We need light, but also we need music and inspiring words, time in nature. And we need activity or exercise, movement of ourselves, even the lymphatic system. Within it, we have a heart that pumps around our blood, but for the lymphatic system, which carries our immune system, we need to have activity or breathing in a certain way to support that. We also need a supportive environment where we have happy human relationships based on a positive connection. Last but not least is cooperation with our inner self and higher powers than ourselves. The other things, if we are dealing with environments either inside or outside of ourselves that include greater toxicity, then the need for certain nutrients increases. So you can look at stress and nutrition levels from at least two different perspectives. You may feel stressed because you don't have the nourishment you need to function properly. And as soon as your nutrient levels are restored, you feel well as you adapt more easily to the stresses. Or maybe in theory, you should be having sufficient nutrition in your diet, but you may not be digesting food properly because of stress. Because when you're under stress, the resources available to you are for digestion shunted off to just coping with the stress that you're experiencing. Perhaps your enzyme-making inheritance makes certain foods difficult to digest, like many people are lactose intolerant, and thus you are not absorbing the full amount you need from your food, or your gut biome is imbalanced. It will be a journey to connect with your digestive system's capacity to respond to stress and what foods and situations for eating suit you best to have the level of nutrients you need. So you have to keep a food diary, you have to notice what foods you eat and what impact that has on you, and also what the environment is around you when you're eating. There's all sorts of things to actually go on that journey. Breathing is also foundational. Breathing not only feeds into the processing of air for oxygen and balancing of our acid-alkaline needs, but the nervous system changes the pace and rhythm of breathing when there is a danger to deal with or you are processing many emotions. Deepening your breathing to expand your belly area and slowing breathing can help you to become calm and steady. If you're feeling very anxious, you can actually breathe out as if you're cooling soup, and that can help settle your nervous system down. Emotions enrich life and empower us to take action. There are no good or bad emotions. There are some that are more contextually appropriate or that we need to make more room for. There may be some that linger on too long and thus throw out the balance or appropriate proportions of our emotional experience. There may be some that have built up and we don't know how to safely discharge. And that's sometimes when people feel a lot of anger, they've built that up. Instead of finding a safe way to clear it out, they can take it out on the people around them, which is rather sad. Emotions come from many sources, including even the way we hold our body or our facial expression, and they are an integral driver on the allocation of resources within our system. To take in the energy and information to nourish your heart and mind, you also need to process and digest your life experience. The gaining of wisdom is not automatic, and parts of your life may stay undigested, packed in storage. The hopeful news is that you can learn to acknowledge and release life challenges, to allow fresh opportunities for lessons and joy to enter your life. To be really satisfied, there needs to be good life digestion that is nourishing your inner template for it to emerge into your environment. If you read a novel without commas, full stops, capital letters, and so on, it would be much harder to take it in and find its meaning. It's the same. So just reading that without pausing, but if you read a novel without commas, full stops, capital letters, and so on, it would be much harder to take it in and find its meaning. It's the same with life. We need pauses to find meaning. Well-being is not about everything being perfect. Although we try to seek the best way we can to avoid or manage sickness or injuries through good eating and exercise habits, etc., things will happen. So it's important to invest in your ability to cope, adapt, and recover from life's challenges, digest the experiences, and grow in both wisdom and empathy. We need each other. Light-hearted, comfortable relationships with those you live and work with every day is a vital trigger for your body to feel safe and enjoy life. Our individual capacity to cope with stress is greatly enhanced when we are connected to a team, which is also part of a bigger team. Social isolation diminishes our capacity for our renewal and repair systems to have the time and resources they need to do their jobs. Yes, we all need to have time alone to reflect and regroup in varying amounts, but this is different in feeling from being socially isolated. Your body's inner intelligence is monitoring very closely the parameters it needs to maintain your body's ability to host the universal life force. In other words, to stay alive. The body has a hunger for survival and balance. It is seeking to defend you as well as tightly manage the oxygen, acid-alkaline balance, hydration, temperature, blood glucose, and repair parameters. The body prompts you to do things to help manage survival and health. It has a space within the nerve hormonal mechanisms for your conscious response and feedback to its signals to adjust your immediate experience. This is an important way our awareness and consequent decisions influence the neurocircuitry of our nerves, muscles, and hormones. Your body puts the highest priority on keeping you safe. Within the defense role, anything that is perceived as being of immediate danger, for instance, defending you from a lion that may eat you at any minute, is given priority over fighting a virus that is dangerous, but not immediate. Digestion and repair are postponed in the face of immediate danger. This tendency of the body is perfect for the short term. In the long term, however, this continual lack of attending to everyday maintenance can cause problems. This leads to chronic illness. Also, from your brain's perspective, your boss or someone or situation may be as dangerous as a lion. We have bodily sensations from movies that aren't real, but they feel real to our body. We may be all in the same physical location, but our experience of it will be very different as we take it into us through our internal environment. The key is whether we are maintaining the delicate balance of the influence of the external environment and our internal environment with our unique energy. We can develop skills which can develop and enhance our well-being. One of them is mindfulness, to actually be where we are in the present time, to be in our bodies, to be aware of our surroundings and what we're seeing and hearing, really paying full attention to that. Even if you go walking and you pay attention to the sound your feet is making with the ground or the different experience you have walking on different surfaces, actually helps you to develop that skill of being present in real time. Our imaginations are very powerful, so we have to use them wisely. There have been incredible experiments with people who recovered from all sorts of things by seeing themselves being able to do, to walk when they couldn't walk, and many other things. Our imagination leads us into where we're going. So making a vision of what we'd like to experience each day or in a week or in a year is actually helps to have an impact on our daily experience. Also learning to track and find our own pattern, whether it's through tracking with a food, energy and mood diary, where if you're feeling a lack of energy, you can write down, what did I eat for a period of time from 1 week to a month is powerful. I did so many food diaries with people, and people suddenly noticed actually what they were eating and how their energy went down or up according to that, and also affected their mood. But if you can't change anything unless you actually see it and make a conscious decision. So that means conscious participation in our own neurocircuitry, learning to notice without judgment and self-criticism and angst, but to pause and to discern options and be willing to experiment, to try eating one thing, for example, over another and see how you feel, and then re-engage. And it takes awareness and practice to keep on making that pause without judgment. That's a very simple sentence, but from my experience, not criticizing ourselves, judging ourselves, because that starts a whole new thing within us. If we can learn just to notice. When you go to any place, like you were going to a shopping mall you've never been to before, but you're trying to find a particular location, you've got to know the location you want to go to and where you are. If you can't accept where you are, you'll never find where you want to go to. It's a very important point. We can learn to make better choices, manage our limitations, and expand our creative options. For example, do you hear what your body is signaling if you suddenly feel a bit sort of fuzzy or thick in the head? So you have to work out, is that thirst? Am I hydrated enough? Am I hungry? Or am I tired? Or am I feeling overwhelmed? If you're thirsty and you try to take a strong coffee to get you going, well, actually you'll dehydrate yourself more and you won't give the body what it needs. It doesn't need a stimulant. It needs water so that it can function properly. So it's actually important to learn how to discern what our body is saying to us. If you notice something, take steps to be responsible for it. The path to freedom is paved with fulfilling our responsibilities. So care stands for consistent attention refreshes everything. So take care of your well-being. So this is just 5 sort of indicators to give you can sort of look at this. If you sort of say you've got a blood sugar problem, are you managing that disease process properly? If you are, that will increase your well-being capacity. If you're not managing it, it will diminish your capacity. Are you connecting with others, or are you isolating yourself? Do you move your body and move your mind and move your heart? Or are you in stagnation? Sometimes, the best exercise is to put on some lovely music and dance to it. That's exercising is moving your body in a way that you can enjoy. Are you being respectful to yourself and other people, or are you just being dismissive? Are you being responsive, or are you being reactive? Are you filled with gratitude, or are you always complaining? Do you have compassion for others and yourself, or are you critical? Do you have a balanced approach between internal and external focus? That means that you're aware of what's going on around you, as well as being aware of what's going on inside of you. Or do you only live on the life on an external level, or are you only obsessed about your own thoughts? And when you eat, do you take in nourishment, or are you just consuming things to fill yourself up? These are very important indicators. Now, so the most important ingredient is actually gratitude and respectful love. They're the most important ingredients, so that when you, for example, when you have food, to pause and be grateful for it. Be grateful for that food and all the people who have made an effort to put that food on the plate in front of you. And if you have that gratitude before you eat and you take the time to smell the food, you'll actually have your digestive system working better, and you'll be able to take in more of it. Now, I have a video I want to show you also. So you could see in those photos just the power of love and gratitude. So I'll leave it at that and hand it over to you, Colin, if there's any comments or questions or anyway, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Tracy. That was excellent. And I'll comment, but anyone else has a question or a comment, please use the reaction button and that puts you all in the logical order. So my observation or my question is this. It sounds like a bit of hard work doing a food diary. I think you said somewhere else that the body sends signals, just and my signals send me towards the bakery and places like that. Is it such an effort because the whole culture is not really very supportive of a healthy diet?
Oh, absolutely. We are saturated by marketing. We've had so many images put into us. They've hijacked our imagination and ideas about what's, food, so there's that aspect that the environment that we live in modern society is not very supportive to making good, healthy choices. The other thing is that sometimes the bacteria in our gut can be out of balance. And so they did research in London that even some type of bacteria stimulate a craving for a certain type of chocolate, very specific. So, sometimes the craving is because our gut biome has become populated with bacteria, certain types of bacteria that are addicted to sugar. We might be addicted to sugar too, but they are also addicted to it. Because when we feed ourselves, we're not only feeding our body, we're feeding the bacteria within us. And we have more bacteria than cells. So
that's amazing.
Yes.
I had heard that, and that makes me feel better. It's not all my fault. It's those
It's not all your fault.
bacteria I'm feeding.
But you're the one in the driver's seat.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. So to recognize that, is this going to be beneficial? And even the good bacteria, they actually need vegetable fiber. So the sort of the vegetables should be the foundation of our diet, and they need, and things like sauerkraut or kimchi or yogurt, all those provide good bacteria for, and the bacteria in our gut is actually part of our immune system. It's the backup for the immune system, and to make a nice, like a filament within the gut so that it protects undigested food from going into our system, which can cause chronic inflammation and allergies and things like that. So looking after those good gut bacteria, which also can help make B vitamins for us, is very important.
Okay, well, the placemat at McDonald's didn't tell me any of that. Okay, Jung, you have a question.
Thank you, Tracy, for your interesting and very knowledgeable lecture. When I look into the food or drink, I will always wonder what's in them. That's my first thought. Even they look really good, but I always wonder, just like we stay in a Brighton Sand, the sea area, oceans area, and so we sometimes look at a lobster and think, should we consume this lobster? What in him? Whether we have the lobster at Brighton Sand, ocean area, or at Fuji. And what's in Fuji water, sea water? What's good? Another question is organic food. I was always worried what they put in the organic food, whether they have chemical or what sort of fertilizer or compost they put into the food in general, in herbs, in anything that they grow at a farm. I always worry about them because commercialized, they have to use cheap compost or fertilizer, and that's not good for human body or immune systems. So they have to use something like fake fertilizer, or things doesn't come out as good as they should be. So that affect people. That's why people have cancer and all that disease, chronic and everything, illness and mental disorder and everything, and not their problem. That's all about the agriculture, fertilizer and compost and all these things we put in the trees and the water and the farm and toxic land, where the waste, just if we don't control the waste, like you say, environmental factor play a very important role in it. And we chop all the trees, so no oxygen. So that's all that I always have, very careful thought about food and water. And so I just make sure that when people turn up to McDonald's, they have to watch out what in there, what in the food content. Thank you, Tracy.
Okay. Well, I think, we can only do our best, we should be looking after the environment better. That's, number one, we should be looking after it. But with Dr. Emoto's photos, he used to get very polluted Tokyo water. And he put it under the slide and he saw, they couldn't make a crystal out of it. It was so polluted. But then he put the words, thank you around it, and the water could make a crystal. So it shows you that's why I'm saying, after you've done everything and you've got that food in front of you, be grateful for it. Put the energy of gratitude into it, and being conscious and mindful of, thanking that food. That food, and everyone, a lot of other people have made a big effort to get that for you. So receiving it in, giving it that energy of gratitude beforehand can help to sort of expand our own capacity to digest and get rid of any toxins that may have come in the food or any limitations. That's where our conscious awareness is so powerful, and gratitude.
Thank you, Tracy. Just like talk about the milk. The milk at the moment, they change the prices of the milk, the dairy products, and all the expensive cheese and everything. You look into the food for the rich people. And when we look at them, I'm so worried. What is in the $4.10 for a liter of milk? What's the difference between them and the cheap milk, $2.50 for people who can afford the $4.10? And what I'm saying, what is the hygiene they put in to the job that milk produced from the cows? So that's all these little things really worry people,
Yes. But, the other thing, the side of the coin, is that they've studied people who have lived over 100 all around the world. And they found that in many of the places, they don't have great food or whatever. And some of them smoke and drink and, but they still manage to live healthy because of their connections with each other. The community feeling expanded each individual's capacity. So that's why I'm trying to sort of emphasize some of the other things, like making good music together, having inspiring words and that actually feed your mind. That's part of expanding your capacity so that you can adapt to even unideal circumstances, like that plant did from the second slide. That little plant did not have a good environment. He's coming up through the bitumen, but it was looking pretty good. So it's all about expanding our capacity and also acknowledging we have an impact on each other's capacity and each other's well-being. We have to care and love for each other more, and love the planet. I mean, the air that I'm breathing out, I don't know who's going to be the next person. Even they found that the soil in the Amazon has come from the Sahara Desert. So everything is rotating around. We're all sharing the water and the air and the soil. So let's try and be responsible ourselves and also contribute to the greater well-being of the planet and other people.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yung, for the good question. Siva.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for the wonderful talk. Well, I was going to ask many questions. And one of the questions was the relationship with the individuals and the others, and you partly answered here that we had to be interconnected and should be caring for Earth. But the first question I wanted to ask was that in a couple of places you emphasize the experience, or digesting the experience or quality of experience, and that creates the wisdom and empathy. Can you please explain a little bit more how that happens, or what is the significance of it?
Well, I mean, we can go through life and just sort of be passive and, go and you sort of meet someone, have children, like just go through certain things. But you can do it on one level, but you can be not conscious. You're not really engaged with it. You know, you haven't taken it in. No one can digest. I can't digest your food and have it nourish you. If I digest it, it nourishes me. Life, we have, whatever you believe, life is giving us experiences with other people and with our own self, but we have to be in the now and in the mindful of what am I experiencing? What am I feeling? Not just sort of doing it automatically, oh, I have to do this, and not thinking about it. We need that's why I'm emphasizing about pausing. You have to stop and reflect.
Yes.
What am I experiencing? When do I feel good? When do I feel stressed? When do I feel happy or light? You know, and to be reflecting on what we're actually experiencing, and even having after a conversation, what was going on there? You know, not just about what's next, which we live in a culture now, which is so external and is dangling all these things in front of us all the time. Well, don't worry about anything. Just buy my product and you'll be right. But we won't be right.
Yes.
Even health products. It really upsets me. You know, someone, all you need is this. We do supplements the best. I can tell you, we have reps. We used to have reps come all the time into the clinic, you know, and you hear the same spiel from all of them. And you know from yourself and your patients what they're experiencing. So there's always marketeers saying, buy this and you'll feel good. But you've got to know yourself, like Socrates said. Know yourself, know how you're feeling. And then you can be free. That's why I said the road to freedom is the road of taking responsibility.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I have a few more questions, but because we have many new friends here like Sarada and Galaxy 21, Maris Nasami, Radha Jaya. So I will give opportunity for others. Thank you.
I think Zora's got a hand up too.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tracy. Thank you very much for your talk. This is one of my very favorite subjects, food and well-being, all of this. I just wanted, if you could explain about that judgment. How do we not judge ourselves or the other one when they're eating? For example, if I see, I would say my children, I don't say other people, if they are not eating the right food, always like having, for example, a cake instead of breakfast, then I don't feel good. How do you solve that problem? That is a problem with me. How do I?
Well, there's a difference between educating somebody and criticizing. You know, in that Dr. Emoto's video, it said, you know, did you notice when that one you fool or something like that? It couldn't form a crystal. So you have to, say your children are eating something, you could offer them another idea, but it's not, it's like when you criticize, it's like, and getting upset. But that actually won't help somebody change. You've got to find out why do they not know that that's not good for them? You've got to find out their level of understanding. Or are they just being stubborn? Or are they, you know, are needing comfort? Sometimes we eat food because we feel bad. And we're looking, you know, it provides something to help us to feel better. So we have to, instead of just staying on the external criticizing, oh, why don't you do that? You have to, maybe they don't know that that's not good for them. maybe they do, but they can't control themselves because they're looking for something. Their life is miserable. For example, some people eat, and sometimes you see people, they go into a cake shop and they're already starting to eat it as they're going out, and they're not tasting it. They're not taking it in. They're not enjoying it, but they're craving something. They're lonely, maybe. So we have to go deeper and not just sort of, why are you doing that? But have a stand by their side and with compassion. Oh, you must be feeling terrible after eating like that. You can't be feeling good because you're not eating food that will nourish you. But why do you eat like that? So it's sort of, criticism is that you step away from someone and you point your finger. Compassion means you stand beside somebody and work with them to find out why are they doing that, and there is a better way for you to get that outcome if you eat this type of food. That's the difference.
Thank you. What about the judgment you said about ourselves or something? I think you told ourselves.
A lot of people are very, very critical of themselves. They do anything and they're criticizing themselves and, why did you do that? And then we're not with compassion. The difference is having compassion, having patience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vasantha.
Yeah,
I have two questions. One is about the water, the structure of the formation of the crystal in the water. If you can expand, it changes by our thought, or what happens there? Is it that our thought put an energy into that, or how it changes the crystal formation? And the other one is, I would like you to expand on the last page, the list that you put there. If you can expand on some of them as well, if you can put that slide back.
Okay, all right. Well, just with the crystal with Dr. Emoto, he actually wrote it on paper, and he wrapped that around the water crystal before the container of water, before he tried to make a crystal out of it. He had a whole equipment that he was using. But for ourselves, we have at least 75% water in our bodies. So our thoughts, have an impact on how that water is able to function. We need water to survive. If we don't breathe, we'll definitely die very quickly. If we don't have water, we also really hinder our health. But that water is taking in all that we say, all that we think, and all that we feel. So that's why I was saying with the emotions, it's sort of feeling something and then you let it go. It shouldn't hang around longer than a few minutes, really. Because if you're very sad for a very long time, then other things have been pushed away in your life. And that sadness, it sort of builds up. So that's why we have to we have to move. Sometimes we have to do something different to be able to move away from those certain emotions. But that water within us that's why what we say to others, it comes back to us.
Can you just expand on what was said at the end of that video about heavy metal music?
Right. Well, the heavy metal music was they couldn't form a crystal with the heavy metal music. But, nice music was actually very constructive, in making the crystal. It made a beautiful crystal. And there's a man called Jonathan Goldman who used to be in a rock band in America. And he was a very observant person. he was playing in the band and he noticed the effect of what songs they were playing on the mood of the customers in the restaurant. And when they played certain heavy metal songs, this is another, this is Dr. Emoto found that with his experiments, but this is another man that just, looking at the audience, he could see their mood would change and they would become a bit more aggressive. But when they played other type of music, there was more harmony. So music is a vibration and we are vibrational beings. So it's really taking in the vibrations and creating the nice vibrations in our environment will help look after us. I'll just try and get that other slide up again.
Meantime, it's not only water, any thoughts or mental activities that we have towards other things, or other people or the living things, it will have some effect on it. I think some people have experimented with plants. I think in a school with small children, they made 2 plants. One, you say bad things to the plant, and the other one, you say good things to the plant. And then after a while, a few days or weeks, they see the plant that was given good words, kind words, was flourishing. The other one was not so much. So our thoughts, good thoughts towards other things, other living things, is going to create something good in those things. And our bad thoughts will have some bad effect. Thank you.
Oh, all the food that we eat and the gut bacteria that's there, does any of that, oh sorry, was I supposed to put my
It's
hand
okay.
sorry. Does any of that the DNA from all of that get incorporated into our genetic makeup?
No, not really. It's a network. We're just networking. We're living, together. But there isn't a DNA exchange between the bacteria and our DNA.
Okay.
But they do have a big impact on our health.
Basantha, you don't still have your hand raised, do you?
Yeah,
Yes, she wants to see this slide again.
Okay, all right.
You can do it later on, Tracy. You can do the others.
Okay.
Is that the 9 points? Wasn't that?
Yes.
It's okay, Tracy. You can answer the others and then come back.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Vasantha.
Ellie.
I think Colin Panja had her hands up before me.
Oh,
the real hand.
Yeah, I still don't know how to use the gadgets much.
Sorry. Down the bottom.
Down the bottom, there's a reaction. And if you click that, there are many options. And one of them is raise hand.
I lost it.
Maybe she can speak anyway before me, then I will go.
Yeah, you go, Panja.
Thank you. My thoughts were on too much effort is put into cooking than the agriculture, the produce which is necessary. And now we have lots of different influx into the cooking, like what dishes will be tasty and all. So it's commercialized and people tend to look at the food and get hungry. And also culturally, it's very diversified. You go to different places, they force you to taste this, taste that, and you are virtually not making up a judgment what is right for you, what is wrong for you. So the education on nutrition and health today is very vital. We have the World Health Organizations. We have, bodies who specialize in education, diet and nutrition, But do the world need all that on food alone? Instead of looking into other aspects of life, science has now focused too much on medicine. And the doctor advises you, for your illness, you take this food, that food. So we live in fear. If I don't take protein, I don't take a balanced diet, my disease will, kill me. All this kind of complication from the hospitals. When you're sick, you just straight away go to the hospital. Even a little bit of headache, say, I have a splitting headache, something is wrong with me. So the doctor there checks everything, and according to the science and the development of medicine in your country. So whatever they tell you, advise you, you tend to follow. So it's a lot of complication. So we have to have our discretion and the right diet. Sometimes like at homes, the grandparents will say, our days we ate that, and that is enough for us. So we go back to tradition. And then now they have vitamins, as you say, medication, vitamins, products, and they say, well, you take this, you will live longer. You live 110 years. But we tend to believe in all that because our desire to live long in this earth. So I feel it's a complicated world as far as science, food, nutrition, medicine is concerned. So we find too many choices. And so this talk is very vital because we have to balance our needs, the body, whatever the body calls for or asks. And as you say, water is very important. So I find that education on nutrition, like one of these talks today, is very important for the generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Panja and Ali.
Okay, thank you, Colin, and thank you, Tracy, for your presentation. Tracy, in your presentation, you're talking about the negative and the positive things in life that we do, even the food that we eat, the balanced diet, if you want to call it, a vegetable and all the thing, has got a effect on our inner realities, really inner being, how we feel. We are tired, we are happy, we are depressed, or whatever it might be, and the diet has got a great effect on that one. I suppose this one is a comment I'm going to make. Goes back to the reality of man, that we have got two sides to us. One is the physical, one is the spiritual. Our physical body, I suppose, need the nourishment, and that nourishment has to be the right one for us. Once we have got a healthy body, then our mind and brain and inner reality, the spiritual side of us also works great, because I suppose our physical side decomposes, finishes, but the reality of man, which is the spiritual aspect, is our soul, it continues on. And really, I suppose what I get from your talk is that really to have that inner health, to be positive, really, we have to look after our physical body. So our brain, our thoughts are all, I suppose, radiating positivity in the world, and to our friends, to ourselves, to the family, whomsoever is around us. I thought that's a thought that I can understand from what I read from the spiritual aspect of our life.
Yes. Well, they're interconnected. They have an impact on each other. They've got there should be a friendship between our body and our spirit.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you for giving me another opportunity. I remember, it just came to my mind, one of the clips that I watched, and they were saying two actors, they were traveling, and at night when they slept, one noticed the other one always talks to himself before he sleeps. And he asked, what are you saying? He said, every night before I go to sleep, I thank my body, like I thank you, my eyes, thank you, my mouth, like my hands, my legs. And I thought just being grateful and thankful. I think that's what you said, that our body also loves the nourishment, to just be thankful, for my legs who took me everywhere, my hands who helped me doing all my everything. And I thought it was so beautiful that you said when you are eating, whatever is there, just be thankful and take a moment to be, to say thank you for what I have, the air we breathe, everything. I thought I just came to my mind to say thank you.
It's very true.
Well, yeah, thank you for mentioning that. I never gave it much thought. I think eating is a time for thinking about other things, but I probably should appreciate what's going on. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was ABC TV had a kind of a documentary on sleep, and it seems like a recent discovery that only when you're asleep does a certain thing happens, which then you talked about cleaning the cells, taking the waste products away, and that happens during sleep. And so you need a good sleep. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts, Tracy, about sleep.
It's the time when the body, is doing its housekeeping. The immune system is getting restocked, repair and maintenance is sort of happening. So it's very important to get that sort of deeper sleep, because the system needs a certain amount of time to actually clear out all that waste. Every cell makes waste. Just the activity, it is making waste, so it has to clear that away to be able to keep on working properly. So it's very important. But just even if, when you're going off to bed, a really good habit is actually to be thankful from toe to head and head to toe. Just say thank you to your toes, to your feet, to your ankle, and work your way up and then work your way down. And if you're still awake, you can do another thing round. But just even that process of saying thank you to all the parts of your body is actually good for you and very relaxing. And then just acknowledging all those parts of you, of your body and system, are working hard to keep you alive. We all like to be thanked.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I'll think about it.
And even like mindful eating is so important. What if you're doing something, really do it properly, like to respect. That's, respect. The God created us a certain way. There's a certain design. And to respect, I'm being nourished now, and to enjoy the food, so that you're actually given some, take in what the universe is giving you. Then you don't have to be getting something else because I'm not satisfied. So if you savor the food, Gandhi used to say you should drink your food with a handful because you've chewed it so much. Right. It's your digestion starts in your mouth.
Yeah. Okay, good advice. Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to ask if you've given a really good presentation. Thank you. There's lots of information there. But how do we recognize what we're missing in our lives, or how we can make things better for ourselves, and what is good in our lives at the moment, or how do we recognize what part of our well-being we need to address at any one time?
Well, keeping some type of record of it, like just even for a week. Write down everything that you consume by mouth, everything that goes in, that you eat and you drink, and write down how you're feeling that day and what you did. And also write down, if you're listening to music or not. Just sort of write a record down, and then at the end of the week, look back at it and see if you notice anything. Talk to a friend about it. Because if it just, either we, just go, we're not being aware of what we're doing, we just sort of grab food and put it in our mouth, or we're just sort of don't care about what we listen to or what we say, but just becoming conscious. What am I doing? That gives a tremendous amount of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of helps, oh, okay, this is where I'm at. And then just find one thing if you notice, wow, I'm consuming too much of something. Oh, I probably shouldn't be having that. Donuts are like the worst food in the planet. It's not really a food. If you notice, oh, I'm eating donuts, well, you say, I won't eat donuts for a week, and see how you feel. Just make one simple thing that you do and you notice. It's like when you exercise. It's better to do less exercise and get the technique and the awareness of what you're doing with your body than to do I've got to do this 30 minutes of exercise no matter what my body feels. It doesn't do any good. You just do a little bit, but be conscious of what you're doing and bring in kindness.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. And I can confirm that the fifth Krispy Kreme donut is not as nice as the fourth one. Young.
Thank you very much, Tracy and Colin. When we talk about sleep here, sleep, especially there are 4 stages. Stage 1, stage 2, 3, and 4. Stage 2 is the most important one because that's where the brain repair and clear all the negative thought and try to revive everything from your body so you can go into deep sleep. So what I'm saying in stage 3 and 4, you can have some good dreams or dreams coming to you. What I'm saying, what I've been hearing from the lecture, just give me the idea of holy water. When we can save water, that can react to people's thought. It's more like a holy water. And when somebody is so selective about food, then I wonder if that selective mood will affect the body. I mean, like, we should have connection between body and spirit. But when the body just say, so selective about food that hardly to eat anything or don't eat the right means resources, then that's going to be affect the spirit, or the spirit supposed to be stronger and control the body. And so you see the lions, they swallow, they don't eat. The tiger, they swallow, they don't chew. But the ox, the buffalo, they chew very slowly. So there are different kind of eating. And talk about the fasting. I think some religion allow people to fast, to do fasting for about 1 month. So that will be good for the kidney, the heart, and the brain, and everything else. So you don't really need a lot of food to revive your immune system. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Siva.
Yes, the second question I was going to ask was about we need each other, that you were saying. And if we are in isolation, it actually diminishes our capacity. I was going to ask, in the whole world, there are many problems. Many people suffer, and their sufferings and their feelings and their emotions or their anger towards the other people whom they think are doing well or doing the damage, is it going to affect others? Say, suppose I am a suffering person and I look at someone else and I feel bad about it. And I have I'm angry and sad and curse them. Will it have bad effect on them? And how, if that is so, or how do we change the situation so that everyone can live in peace and harmony?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. It does. As more hate's coming into the world, it does. It breeds more hate. So we have to breed more love and kindness and compassion to neutralize it. It's like a toxin. It's a poison. So, it's, raising up the sort of the love level in the world is actually very important. The compassion level, to help neutralize that poison that's coming. When the politicians, fight each other viciously, and when they try to divide the people for their power, it's so destructive. So we have to sort of, get that education out that, no, we have more in common than what separates us. And it does more harm to sort of break apart like that. The compassion level, the kindness level, the mercy, the willingness to forgive. We have to expand the capacity of the people in the world to be able to do that.
Thank you. I think that we had the readings today, and in one of the readings, I think it said that no man can attain his true station except through his justice. No power can exist except through unity. No welfare and well-being can be achieved except through consultation. And then another one that also we read, it says, because the theme was about consultation, but it said that the heaven of divine wisdom is illumined by two luminaries of consultation and compassion that you said. You emphasize compassion so much. So I think consultation is one of the important things that we have to use to solve the problems in the world. Thank you.
I saw a couple of people waving, and I don't know if they were trying to raise their hand. Sandy, did you have a question?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I saw you waving or raising your hand.
I want to ask a question.
Please,
first, I want to thank Tracy for that very good talk, very logical, informative, and very nicely presented. So the question is, what do you think is, but you mentioned about the interconnection and in so many things. So what is the underlying common denominator, you think?
I suppose the underlying common denominator is to acknowledge that we have needs on the mind, body, and spirit level, and to fulfill the needs of each of those parts of ourselves, and to have a relationship going on between our mind, body, and spirit. And, you know, that sort of mutual respect. And it's all about relationships, actually, you know, and relationships with other people. So the relationship that, like, we're just part of this, we have inner networks, like our brain is network, you know, and our nervous system, and we have all these different networks going on inside of us. Even we're networking with the bacteria, but then also we're networking with each other. So it's getting the balance between all those networks so that we can respond to life's flow. Life is bigger than any of us. You know, it's got its story and we're just part of it. We're not bigger than life's story, but we matter in life's story. We all matter in it. So it's sort of that respect that I'm part of a bigger whole and doing my bit within it and being responsible for my sort of networks, my connections internally and externally, so that, you know, I you know, try to minimize my pollution, spiritual pollution, physical pollution, emotional pollution, control my emotions. I'm not sprouting off my anger at everybody, you know, all those that type of balance between the networks. I think that's the key point.
Thank you. One more related question, if may I ask. So, especially about food and, you know, medicines, because you mentioned about the marketing and the marketing people maybe not telling the truth. So obviously, I think that when such marketing is happening, whether it is food or medicine, so our body will be getting some discordant notes. How do we identify that?
Well, actually, you can tell there's a clue in your pulse. You should take your pulse and be aware of what your pulse is when you're feeling good. And when you can either, you know, have a small taste of something or think about something even, and your pulse can change. You should experiment. And if your pulse is starting to race, it's probably not that good for you. So that's one clue. And it's just that self-awareness and to check in with our own intuition, our own knowing. That's why we need to spend time in meditation or quiet sitting to cultivate internal communication, so that we can get that inner knowledge coming up, so that the marketing knowledge isn't overwhelming our system.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that, like inner knowledge. Otherwise, the marketing will overwhelm. I like it. We have a few minutes. If anyone who hasn't asked a question, I'll give priority for. And while you're thinking, Basantha, Sarada, just a moment. Anybody else?
All right. If you have anything else, it's okay. Otherwise, if Tracy has a few minutes, if she can go back to that slide.
The Sarada is having a question.
Yep. I'll go to answer Sarada's question first, and then I'll put that slide up for you, and that will probably take us out.
Okay, good.
You're muted.
Sarada, that's it. Good.
Thank you. It was just coming back to Siva's question there, where he asked how, if we have any bad feelings or bad thoughts, emotions, negative things, how does that affect other people? And I was just thinking, you know, if you have something bad happen to you, then you're not going to be able to interact in a way that, in a positive way, to other people. So you're transferring that negative energy that way. And also through, I don't know if other people believe this, but there's a whole web of energy that connects everything. So if you have a negative energy within you, it will vibrate along that to other people and also transfer that way. So it can infiltrate, the wider population, whatever. So I was just coming back to.
But, on the other hand, that's true. But also, we have a benevolent heart at the universe. This universe was created for a motivation of love and regard for all of the creation and all human beings. That is pulsing all the time. So even when something as bad has happened to us, we should, sort of pause and say, okay, this is not good. I don't feel good. But to sit in nature, or to sit in the knowledge that that love is waiting there, wanting to support you. And that is the strongest force in the universe. Even though, yes, when someone, sprouting off, the people around them are feeling, whoa, boy, watch out, But if we stopped and took responsibility and say, okay, I'm feeling like this has happened. I'm going to sit in that benevolence for a while. Breathe it in and breathe out the bad feeling. Breathe it out, let it go, and take in the benevolence that's waiting there for everyone. There's unconditional parental love waiting for everybody. If we pause, we don't just react and then make up, reacting out. In that network, in that matrix, the fiber of the matrix is love, is kindness, is mercy. And we have to learn to sit in it, to sit in mercy. I'm loved. Kindness is coming to me now. Regardless of my circumstance, regardless of what I've done or somebody else has done to me, kindness, that fundamental kindness is there, and to learn to sit in it. And then we can send that out, no matter what we've experienced. It's like that little plant. It's got a rough trot. It's got bitumen all around it, but it can still bring us joy because it's overcoming the circumstances that it's in. So they're the plant. Those plants that grow on cliff faces. I love them. They inspire me. I think, geez, look what you've overcome. And another human being that you know that they've gone through a hard time, they've overcome. They're inspiring for others because they're allowing that universal love to set their agenda and not what's happened to them. Look at Nelson Mandela. Look what he went through. But he managed to define his life by something different than what happened to him. So we admire him and we would like to be like him. And there's other people like him. So that's what we have to remember.
Thank you.
Okay. I just find that slide. And what part did you want to
Just to expand on the few one, like
Pardon?
isolation and connection, or dismissive and respectful. Just one or two of them, because that we are running out of time.
Yep. So if you're isolating yourself all the time, you diminish your well-being capacity because you're losing those connections. You're not looking after those connections. So it's just reducing you. So this is low capacity and high capacity is what direction am I going in? Am I increasing my capacity or reducing my capacity? So when you have more connections with others, you're increasing your capacity.
Okay.
When you're respectful to other people, respectful to that there's higher powers in the universe, then you're increasing your capacity. If you're very dismissive, oh, I don't care about that, oh, I don't believe that, you're actually restricting your options of what can come into you.
So this has nothing to do with the food, is that right?
Pardon?
Is there any connection with the food or anything? No.
Yeah, nourishment and filler. Whether the food that you're eating is actually fulfilling your nutritional needs or it's just filling you up with empty calories and actually causing indigestion and stagnation and decreasing your ability to get rid of waste products. If you eat too many donuts, you definitely diminish your ability to get rid of waste products. You're getting more waste products than you're getting nourishment. That's one example.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Anyway.
I think on that point, I love donuts. The conversation is going downhill, I can tell.
As I share donuts for Colin, you see, keep him alive.
I think number 5.
Anyway, but definitely a lot of, well, talking about food, that was food for thought and for food for potentially changing habits. So I think this is a really worthwhile conversation we had this evening, because instead of just ignoring our well-being, we're starting to think about it and think about what's possible and maybe even changing a habit or two. And it was a very, I thought, a very holistic explanation. It had everything in it and seemed very balanced, Tracy. So I want to thank you very much for tonight's talk.
Oh, thank you.
Tracy, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Tracy.